Coming up next on Good Morning El Paso, local businesses are bracing themselves as the Army cuts back on the number of soldiers nationwide, including Fort Bliss.
New this morning, veterans will soon have a new way to prove that they served without having to carry around cumbersome paperwork.
And happening today, in just a few hours, the Confederate flag will be coming down at the South Carolina State House. But the controversy over that symbol will continue.
Live, where news comes first. From the Mesilla Valley and Las Cruces to El Paso and the borderland. This is ABC7's Good Morning El Paso.
Good morning. It was the lower valley's turn to get hit hard by rain overnight, and also Las Cruces.
And if you're planning on heading east today, be ready to deal with some showers. This is a live look at our radar. You can see lots of green on the map.
And let's get right to Crystal and talk about that forecast. We're still under the first alert.
We are still under that first alert because we still have the potential for some strong thunderstorms to yet again redevelop afternoon and evening. Yesterday, poor Las Cruces, you guys had that hard hit overnight, which led to some street flooding. But then yesterday afternoon actually had another hard hit in that area. Some parts of town picking up nearly 1.5 inches of rain as a result for that day total. In El Paso overnight, we had a little bit of rain move on through. That put us at right around 1/4 of an inch for the official total, but we're still looking at some light rain that's picking up on radar. Let's zoom in and take a closer look at where that is. We're freezing radar for you. You can see the most latest update right on Highway 54 northeast El Paso, moving on into Otero County. That's where we're tracking some of that deeper green or rain on radar. Although I can say we checked on some of the Highway 54 traffic cameras. None of them were actually showing rain making it to the ground. So let us know if you live in this area. Are you seeing rain this morning? Weather at KVIA.com, or you can tweet me at Crystal Klein. Let me know what you're seeing. Radar, though, is indicating at least some very light rain that's falling in this area this morning. Also some light rain that's falling over the Oregon Mountains, moving over the mountains at this point and into Otero County as well. Temperatures right now, we do sit at 63 TRC, 66 Las Cruces, 70 that temperature in El Paso, and 66 in Alamogordo. These temperatures, just like the last few days, we're looking upper 80s, low 90s for forecast highs. But as we move into next week, could we make it to triple digits again? We'll talk about that coming up.
Okay, thank you so much, Crystal. And a good morning to El Paso, Las Cruces, and Juarez. I'm Stephanie Valle.
And I'm Hillary Floren. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Our headlines today: the Army is downsizing and Fort Bliss will be impacted after all.
The Army is also cutting the civilian workforce by approximately 17,000 people. The layoffs are expected to happen in fiscal years 2016 and 17 and be finished by the end of 2018.
Over at Fort Bliss, the Post confirms that 1,200 positions at Fort Bliss will be eliminated. The Post is home to about 35,000 troops. That's about 5% of its force.
The president and CEO of the Greater El Paso Chamber of Commerce said, judging by what happened elsewhere, Fort Bliss and El Paso dodged a bullet in this latest round of cuts.
The government says this will not affect the nation's warfighting capabilities. And while the cuts won't be as drastic as what's happening on other bases, local businesses in and around Fort Bliss are now bracing for a loss of income. Among them, the GI Supply on Fred Wilson. Clayton Lester's family owns GI Supply, and he had this to say.
With a reduction like that, it definitely affects our business, makes it a bit slower for us. We'll do our best to survive. God bless us every day, and so we just one foot in front of the other and keep on going.
A UTEP study found the Post has a $6 billion a year impact on our local economy.
New this morning, all military veterans will soon be eligible for new identification cards to more easily prove their service. Good morning, El Paso's Denise Olivas has this story. Denise.
Good morning, Stephanie. Specifically, this new legislation approved by Congress just this week will make it easier for veterans who have been honorably discharged to prove their time in the military. Well, many have to carry paperwork and copies of their discharge documents. Supporters say it could be a security precaution when veterans are carrying so much personal information around. The bill passed in the Senate and the House without any objections, but it has taken several years to get this through Congress. The Obama administration doesn't necessarily agree with the need for new IDs, but there is no indication that the president will veto the legislation. One local veteran we spoke with says the IDs will be convenient.
When you go to the VA or when you go to any other, like if you're out of town, you need to go to the VA, you have your ID, so that helps. You don't have to go through all the ramifications of trying to convince them that you're a veteran.
The new cards will be created for all veterans and not just for those who qualify for health care and benefits. And there will be a small fee for the ID card, which will help keep the program funded. Hillary, back to you.
All right, thanks, Denise. More news out of Fort Bliss. The Post Emergency Response Team should be better prepared for a worst-case scenario. If you were wondering what was going on, this was only a drill for an active shooter yesterday over at Beaumont Army Medical Center. The call came in that 15 bodies needed to be airlifted, 60 wounded need to be treated. The goal is speed, sending the injured and helping them in apprehending the suspect or suspects.
Shots fired is the worst case scenario. I'm a worst case guy, right? And then we can always de-escalate from there.
If there's an emergency situation at Fort Bliss, we're told that Public Affairs will let everyone know by putting something on social media within 15 minutes. And on the subject of training exercises, Jade Helm 15, a controversial special operations exercise, begins next week in Otero County. Now, this photo is courtesy of our Albuquerque affiliate. A special presentation was shown in Alamogordo to release more information on this exercise. More than 1,200 troops will be participating. The training will last for a month. Less than 20 will be in private land in Otero County, and officials say they're not releasing much information on this exercise because China and Russia are watching very closely.
Authorities say the body of a man found in the Las Cruces dump truck probably ended up there by accident. Now, this happened on the 1400 block of Missouri Avenue yesterday morning. Detectives believe the man was digging through the dumpster when the truck came to collect the trash. The operator of the truck called police after he realized what had happened. The 61-year-old man died at the scene. He had excessive injuries to his head. A police officer is being accused of using excessive force in Hatch. 42-year-old Mariano Frayer is now on paid administrative leave. The Doña Ana County Sheriff's Office says Frayer arrested a 30-year-old man for disorderly conduct. They say at times the man verbally harassed Frayer. Once in the jail cell, though, authorities say a surveillance camera showed Frayer grabbing the man by the arm and forcing him to the ground. A warrant was issued for the officer's arrest, and he is charged with battery and false imprisonment.
State Rep Marissa Marquez says that she's ready to leave Austin. The Sun City Rep says she's retiring from the Texas House. She was first elected in 2008 and told us she'll continue to serve until her term expires in January of 2017.
It is 6:07, and we're taking a look in central El Paso at US 54, now more south El Paso too, at US 54 in Alameda. You can see that the traffic is pretty light in that area, needless to say. Not a lot of cars out there, but we'll keep an eye on things in the borderland for you.
That's a nice looking Friday morning shot right there.
It really was.
And keep it here for much more to come on Good Morning El Paso.
After an intense political battle, the Confederate battle flag will be lowered for good from the South Carolina Capitol this morning. We have a preview.
And a local company is expanding beyond the borderland, selling a favorite treat across the Lone Star State.
But first, storm track weather meteorologist Crystal Cly has your complete forecast.
And that forecast includes a little rain this morning, but better chances this afternoon. We're going to look at where that rain may fall. Most amounts coming up after your break.
Thanks, Crystal. This is ABC 7, where news comes first.